this weekend's football. I want to start a series. I want to do a series, like a YouTube series, where we talk about like reactions to this weekend's games. Obviously, the big one today, Arsenal versus Everton. I don't think anyone was expecting us to lose, if I'm completely honest. Everyone was a bit weary of the whole situation with Sean Dyche coming in, new manager effect, but I don't think anyone was banking on us to lose. But if we were going to lose, we were going to lose that way. We didn't match their energy, and we struggled to really get to grips with them. So it was interesting to see that the patterns of play that we normally associate with Arsenal, say, just kind of being shut down. And it's the first time probably since the Newcastle game where we've really struggled like that. Don't really count the Man City game and the FA Cup, because obviously we fielded a weakened side. So coming back to it, I thought we should play a little bit better, and it was just the first time where, again, Saka and Martinelli struggled a little bit more because they had so much focus defensively. The midfielders did such a great job for Everton. Defensively, they were resolute and sound, and you had a couple of chances. Saka could have scored. Odegaard potentially should have hit target, potentially scored. And Nketiah going through when he went, not really 1v1, but kind of near post. So it was a bit of a frustrating afternoon for the Arsenal, and I guess we hand over to our North London counterparts and hope that they can do a job for us against Man City. But just really interesting. And the other games that came through today, you know, you are thinking as an Arsenal fan that it's going south right now, and all the heat's going to be on us, and then Liverpool turn up at 3:00 away at Wolves and get smashed 3-0. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know, a lot of people will talk about Klopp and go, he should go. I'm on the fence still. I think he deserves the time, but they're question marks now, and they're getting beat by almost anyone, and they're struggling against a lot of teams, and I just don't know if Klopp has the answer. I think he'll stay for the season and the duration of the season, but the question marks will be asked, and if they don't make a good start next season, then it could be bad times. So I'm really interested to see how that develops and what we see moving forward. But a bit of a mad one from Liverpool. Shout out Wolves though. United, we were quite confident, to be honest, and especially with the game they drew against Palace, where they probably should have won. That Elise free kick was unbelievable. To see them then go 2-0 up, you think it's a pretty casual day for them at Palace, and then Casemiro getting sent off and the 3-game ban potentially, it's going to be massive for them. I think they've got Leeds twice, someone said before, so it'll be interesting to see if they miss Casemiro. We know that they will for sure. But the bigger question is whether or not it's going to affect them in the games against Leeds. So I'm interested. I'm hoping that somehow Leeds manage to take some points off United over those 2 games. And fingers crossed, them missing Casemiro turns into more than just missing him and actually losing out on some points. Other games across the league then, Leicester and Aston Villa. I think there were 5 goals in the first half, which is a little bit brazy. Leicester getting a 4-2 win against Villa away. I want to say it's a shock result, but Leicester have got the quality if they turn up on the day. Brentford 3-0 at home to Southampton. I think most people right now are nailing on Southampton as the team to go down, which is a shame because at times they play good football. But yeah, I think it's their time. It really is their time right now. And with Everton winning against us, kind of backs to the wall, and you know the Dyche effect. I think you anticipate them to kick on now, and we'll see if they can put a little run together. But Southampton, it's looking bleak. Yeah, it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. Brighton doing the business again, 1-0. Here Matoma did a little bit of a bit again, 87th minute. He loves a late last minute winner. Brighton, you look at it and say, obviously they lost Trossard. Potentially they could have lost out on Caicedo, and just again come back after the January transfer window, and they still look good. Still like they can put in a shift. So be interesting to see how they get on for the rest of the season. They're sitting where are they now? 6th place. So you're questioning whether or not they can make Europe, and I think they would be good for it if they manage to somehow squeeze the Europa League spot. But there's going to be so many teams fighting for that spot, and you anticipate Chelsea at some point will come back. And that's one that we haven't talked about yet, but obviously the game that we had on Friday night, Chelsea's game, an interesting game against Fulham, a little bit of a taster of potentially what is to come. Enzo didn't play too bad. I was quite impressed with him individually. But the team didn't play well, and I think we knew that was going to be the case walking into that game with Graham Potter having so many players to choose from. I'm I'm worried that they have a really good and strong selection of players, but I'm also conscious that that means two things. You know, you've got to keep everyone happy, and if you don't do that, you know, the knock-on effect that that has for the club and for the squad. So Potter's going to be under a little bit of pressure to make sure the results are coming thick and fast, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to do that when they come up against teams that are a little bit more prepped and ready and know what they're doing. But we'll see. Other games today, obviously we've got Newcastle, West Ham currently playing, is 1-1. And then we got looking ahead to the big game tomorrow. We've got a couple of games, Leeds, Nottingham Forest, which will be interesting. I think it will be interesting just to see, because Forest didn't look great against United. They had chances, but they just can't take them. And Leeds at times have looked good this season, at times have looked really bad. So it's going to be a fine balance just to see whether or not which team can come through. I'm kind of banking on that potentially being a cheeky little draw. But it's Spurs and Man City. The game where we need, as Arsenal fans, we need Spurs to do an absolute madness. I've never needed it so much in my entire life. It won't happen, and I anticipate Man City to really run away with it. After what happened in the second half in the game they played before at City, I have a strong feeling that that's going to play a part of the game. Obviously, I think Conte might still be out. I think obviously he went to hospital, had the operation. So again, I hope he's getting better, and we pray that he's okay. But sorry, I saw something on my desk. I have a strong feeling that this is going to be Man City looking at us dropping points and going, we don't need any more motivation. If I'm completely honest, then this is where it's the big question. We've got Brentford. Thinking about Arsenal now, we've got Brentford at home next weekend, ahead of the biggest game of the season for us at home with Man City. So the title race is heating up, and I think our next game is going to tell us whether or not we're going to be there or thereabouts, because we could drop points to Brentford, and if we do that, then you anticipate walking into the Man City game, it could be a pretty bad time for us. Just never know football. Didn't anticipate Everton beating us today. Didn't expect us to beat Liverpool earlier in the season, to beat Man United, to beat Chelsea at the Bridge. So, you know, it's just the way it goes. There's no easy games in the Prem anymore. Occasionally you batter a team, but they will come back at some point and have a good day. So it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. It's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. But we shall see what happens. I'm looking forward to it.